from the dead is a miracle, doc. They counted me out. Moment of truth, counting it down. Underdog story was down for the count. Back on my feet, back with a mic, back on the beat, back with a family that bang in the streets. The game on lock, I stand with a key. Standing my ground, I am planning to flee. Standing my ground, I am planting my feet. Taking a stand, embracing my destiny, shaking his hand, flipping the script.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to no, not Sunday, but Monday night CrossFit Talk. I can't do the Sunday because that's a Sunday thing, but it's Monday night, and we're here to talk everything CrossFit. And there's a lot going on over the last week, so can't wait to get into all that with you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you're first to know when things come out. And if you are listening to us on audio, which the lunch shows are picking up in the audio business like big time.
Nice.
For some reason, it's killing the audio. If you're listening on audio, make sure you leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify or whatever you're listening to, Amazon Music, anything. We're out on all of it. So check all that out and leave us a review there. With that, what's going on, guys? Slow weekend?
Slow. Not as slow as I would like. My goodness. I need more hours.
So what are you working on? Tell the people.
We are like completely remodeling the gym, basically like flopping the layout. Got the turf laid yesterday, and
what color is that turf?
It's purple. It is purple.
Purple turf.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I was like, dang, that fits your gym.
Yeah, that's been the color scheme for the gym, and I didn't really want to mess with the branding and change it. Purple is not at all one of my favorite colors. I would have went with green, of course. But yeah, purple's been the branding, and we have like so much merch and just shirts and stuff that it made sense. And it is really sharp on the turf. Like, it's really cool. So as I get things a little further along, I've been trying to take pictures of stages, and I'm put together a reel. So all that will be out. You guys can see the transformation.
What I'm anxious to see is how clean the purple stays looking compared to the green, because it's a little deeper, darker. Maybe it looks cleaner longer. I'm anxious to see what comes of that.
Yeah.
Did you guys get other equipment as well for like during this remodeling, or just moving things around?
Well, we got a whole new rig. Other than that, equipment wise, no. No, nothing major equipment wise. I mean, a couple ropes, right, to like hang from, because we got like 12-foot posts with 3-foot extensions. So with the A-frame off, we can hang ropes or rings or whatever.
Nicole Sherman said it looks really nice with the graffiti wall behind it.
Yeah. Nicole came to class today.
Denise wants to know what is different about the rig. Why the new one?
So we had a not even middle of the floor. It was 2/3 over in the floor, freestanding. Yep. And it's, again, I bought this gym a couple years ago, and it's like everything's been pieced together. There was like some pieces of Getter X rig, some pieces of Rogue rig, some pieces of, like, most of the rig was like hand welded by a member like 8 years ago, and the holes didn't line up. It's very shaky. When we get like 8 people on it, it doesn't feel safe. So we actually bought new rig with 3x3 posts, and it's going to be a wall mounted rig, hopefully to open up the space a little bit more. So.
And you don't have that up yet. That's like one of the final stages.
Yeah.
So lots of burpees and double unders and box jumps for now.
Yep, exactly. I know tomorrow's supposed to have pull-ups, so I don't know. I think it's going to just be push-ups. I need to go in and change that workout.
Sumo deadlift high pull. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh,
keep it
God.
a pulling motion.
There you go. Already rowing, so that'd be a lot of that movement.
Okay. Denise says, nice, safety first.
Yeah.
Yeah, your rig did rock when. Yeah.
I mean, even when like 2 of us were on it, it rocked. Like, imagine when we get like some of the rig shakers on there. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Projected ETA of finishing end of the week.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go back there tonight. So if I shut off on you guys, it's because I'm leaving at 9. I promised Aaron I would leave at 9. So we're gonna do some more mats tonight, and then maybe tomorrow start the rig. I don't know. It's tough because you don't want to like start something that's gonna mess up the flow in there when I need to have classes Thursday and Friday, and Saturday. So we don't want to do too much until Saturday, but we'll do some tonight. See what we can do tomorrow since we're close. The other thing is there's like some really unlevel spots in the floor. I don't know what they did before. There's like a pipe sticking up that like is trying to like cut through the mats. Like it's like sharp and it's like breaking through one of the mats. So that needs to be grinded down. Another section has a really low spot that is like you feel like you're going to trip if you're walking through there. You can't jump rope in there. You can't lunge through there. So that like there's like 4 mats that need to be pulled and like leveled out. Aaron's trying to decide what he wants to use. So we're going to do that probably tomorrow so that it can cure over New Year's Day, and then we'll just keep it roped off on Thursday.
Lex, who is our next topic, are you working out on top of this too, Jamie, or does labor count?
So I didn't do anything yesterday. Well, we were there literally all day yesterday. I left at 12:30 in the morning. And I woke up this morning in so much pain. Like my back hurts so bad. It's not even funny. So I did not work out today. I did lift with Noon. But they did DT and I was like, absolutely not. So, and I just did DT like 2 weeks ago. So I was like, I'm good. And plus I'm going back tonight. I will probably work out in tomorrow's class. It's like a partner workout 20-minute thing. So I will probably do tomorrow's, but yeah, I'm trying to be okay with all the bending over and lifting and moving stuff counting as a workout. It is hard for me because, I like to do like longer miles. I like to just do more metabolic.
Yeah, more hinging with DT probably was smart not to do that today.
Yeah.
But if it's safe, it'd be fun to get it in. Denise wants to know, did you get med ball targets?
I didn't get any. I have 5 or 6. We actually had more for the rig that we had that weren't up. So we're going to see how that all works out. If I need to get more of those or not.
And Craig is looking forward to the gym tour video.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah, I'll put something together for you guys.
So speaking of Lex, yesterday was her birthday. Happy birthday to Lex. And Carolyne, you got to hang out with her for her birthday. Anything fun and special?
We went out to eat. She had one of her best friends come down that she doesn't get to see very often. And we basically hung out the whole day there. Did a little birthday wad. We attempted this thing that's popular on TikTok or something one of the days. Like it was like the day before her birthday where we go to Target and we each have to pick out something in the other person's favorite color, in something that they need, their favorite snack, something that they can do, like we can do together. And let's just say like it was an epic fail on my part. She had it like it was basically for both of our birthdays because mine's January 6th. And we're like, okay, we're going to do this together. It's going to be really cool. She had like everything planned at Target. She knew everything to go. And like, I was there for like 45 minutes too long. And mine was not that great. I basically just gave a bunch of different things and I'm not creative with that kind of stuff. Yeah, we just hung out. We had pedicures and what else did we do? Nothing too crazy. It's so close to Christmas. We did a lot of stuff.
Yeah. My birthday's Wednesday. So like I have that 1 week after Christmas. You and Lex know what that's all about. The birthday Christmas, my wife's is 1 week before, mine's 1 week after. It's all jammed into one time of the year. It really stinks. One, I want to make it more special for my wife on her birthday, but it seems like you're just cramming it in because of all the holiday stuff going on. And I know she feels the same way about me. The only nice thing is I get my birthday off every year because it's New Year's Day. And so we do have a little bit of stuff planned for Wednesday. I can't wait. My best friend told me about a new wing place that just opened up near our house, and it's supposed to be the best wings in town. And man, chicken wings are number one on my list of foods all time. And so that is my plan for birthday. Denise says happy birthday to everyone except Jamie.
Yeah. Aaron's mine's October. Aaron's is January 10th. So we know how that goes. Yep.
Yeah, like said here, that we're going to go see a Broadway show in Toronto in January. We were going to go see Hamilton during the holidays here, but the prices were so expensive during the holidays because everyone's off, and we were waiting for the price to come down, and we ended up just going. We're going to go see The Lion King in January in Toronto when she comes to Toronto.
Lion King is so good.
I have heard good things about that.
So good. The opening is worth the price of admission.
Awesome. So we're looking forward to that. Also part of our birthday stuff.
Yeah, we looked at what's coming to Columbus, and Hamilton's going to be here this summer, here in Columbus. And then this is going to be, my wife and I both love Neil Diamond. It's a corny thing that we really love, but he has a musical out now that's based on his music. And it's coming to Columbus in April or May. So we may hit that one up this year. Jody agrees. The opening for Lion King is epic. It is it is breathtaking. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And
I can't wait.
What your impressions are. It's so good. And Toronto's built for Broadway. Toronto's the second, from what I understand, in the world. If you can't get to Broadway, Toronto's the place to go see a show, because it is like the second best place to see it in the world. And then Ken Walters is January 13th. So we have a lot of birthdays happening going on around here. Kat actually saw Stomp last week in Philly.
Oh, fun.
Man, that's had a long run.
Yeah.
Stomp's been around for 20 years now.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, I did have a bone to pick with you. I'm not going to do it tonight, but you made me watch that The Madness show, which was a complete colossal waste of my time.
It really was.
Oh my gosh.
It started out so good. Like first 2-3, I was like, okay, this is good. This is gonna be good. Yeah, I was not thrilled.
I said to we had dinner with friends last night, and I was like, have you guys seen The Madness? And they're like, well, it was good until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't describe it better. It was good until it wasn't.
Yep.
Oh, so bad. I was so mad at you guys for making me start that.
I should have.
You and Lex. You and Lex are the ones that started me on this.
But we were only a couple episodes in. I didn't update you and say, hey, not good end. Don't watch it.
This is the last thing I'm going to say. The intricate detail of what wasn't important compared to the lack of detail of what was important by the time you got to the end of the story was mind-blowing.
Yes. Agreed. Don't even finish it.
Do not start it. Do not finish it. It goes off the rails completely.
Yeah.
Everything you've learned.
I watched the Beast Games yesterday for the first time. Have you guys watched any of that?
I saw it, but I didn't watch it. How is it?
It's very dramatic, but I mean, I'm into it now. There's just a few episodes that we've watched so far. People have a lot of trust in people that they don't know, because I'd be taking a lot of money.
I mentioned this on the lunch show today, is that the NFL killed it on Netflix on Christmas, right? The ratings were through the roof. Streaming seems to be like the place for event programming to go. Doesn't it make sense that CrossFit tried to get on a streaming service as opposed to an ESPN, where you can get their marketing arm behind it? Because I was talking to Pat Midgley today, and like the Physical 100 was on Netflix. This Japanese show that was super niche, but it got Netflix marketing arm and it did really, really well.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's the partnership I think CrossFit needs to get. A Netflix or a Peacock or...
Like if the new tour, for instance, with the 20 signed athletes, did a series of the whole year with those athletes that stay the same, that will be at each of these competitions, like that would draw a lot of people towards the sport.
Yeah. It came to me when I was reading this article about the NFL killing it and the Tyson Paul fight, and that they're going for this event programming. And what better than like the CrossFit Games or the WFP to like follow these athletes through a season, beginning to end. And yeah, and WWE is going to Netflix. So, and the streaming services are looking for those event type things to sign up because they're doing so well. But anyway, that wasn't even in our plans. And neither was this, but as I was doing my live to kind of promote the show, I ran across this. So this is hot off the presses. Someone that helped me out big time at the Masters CrossFit Games made an announcement today. And that is Ellie Hiller has announced that she's pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that got leaked like 2 weeks ago.
Oh. I didn't hear till I just saw it 10 minutes ago.
I meant to tell you that, yeah.
So congratulations to Ellie. She was a big help at the Masters CrossFit Games, getting us interviews, and super happy for her and her husband that they are with child. So super cool there. Now to our regular rundown. Lions are on tonight. Are they even starting anybody?
Yeah, they're playing the 49ers. Carolyne was supposed to go.
I know, but they're not. It doesn't even matter if they win or lose because next week means everything.
Yeah.
Once they were out of the picture, I felt less inclined to go because I don't know what players are going to be playing. And then had they still been going for a playoff spot, then that would have been really exciting to go watch. But not this time. We'll go another time.
She announced it on Glinton Things a few weeks ago. That's how far behind the times I am.
Yeah.
So the first thing we have up is the WFP, World Fitness Project, has been on 2 talk shows. They've made some announcements, and we can do a rundown of details. I wanted to get your impressions as athletes. Kat and I talked about it on the roundtable briefly, but neither one of us competed at a high level, so our perception of this is going to be different than yours. First, we now know who kind of is running the show. It is Isabella Terry and Jackson Terry, both co-founders of Good Life. Isabella is the executive director. Jackson is the director of operations. Will Morad is the director of sport. Jason Ansley is the event director for North America. He did the first 4 Monster Games. That is his experience. Roger Nilsson is the event director for Europe. He is with the Wadla Group, but he is best known for the Norwegian Throwdown when back in the sanctional time. He put that together. And then Ryan Husband, director of business development, founder of LRX Apparel, actually from right here in Columbus. I met him when he first started his company. He used to go from gym to gym and set up tables selling his apparel. And he used to come to Shred when I was a member there, and got to meet him early on in his career. And then his wife, Maggie Husband, is the director of logistics. So those are the players that we are working with currently.
Spin posted something today about an investor. I think I didn't have time to read the article or anything yet, but
so I've read. So Dense Updates had something on it first, then Barbell Spin got more detail with it, but it's just who the money is. And she's actually a Masters athlete. She competed at the Masters CrossFit Games in the 60 to 65-year-old division, 60 to 64 division.
60 to 64. Yep.
And so she's loves CrossFit. She's all about CrossFit, and apparently her and her husband are the people putting up the money.
Yeah. They're Isabella and Jackson's, they're Isabella's parents.
Oh,
yeah.
That part I did not see.
That's the connection. So they're the money. and they're like, it's all in that article. They've donated a bunch to the Hawaiian that Kalia Foundation. They put up the money, I feel like, for this Good Life company to start, and now they're
So Good Life's been around a while, and it's actually spelled Lyfe.
Yes.
And it is a nonprofit religious organization. And when we were at one church, that was the middle school like organization that ran all the camps and stuff like that for our middle school. And my daughter went to that one summer. She went to Good Life and she went to camp and did all that stuff. So I'd actually heard of them for a while. But where they have the money is they actually own like other businesses. Good Life is just their nonprofit. And Spin actually spells out what business they own. I'll try to pull it up just so I can. It came in so last minute. I thought we'd talk about it later.
I'm going to be right back. I'm going to keep it on. I'm going to take my camera off because I'm going to go upstairs for the rest of this call.
Okay. So Beth Gillette is the Masters athlete. She placed 13th in her division at the Masters CrossFit Games.
They're the owner. She's the CEO owner of Power Grid Services.
That's it.
Yeah. They do the overhead distribution, construction, maintenance, transmission line construction, and right-of-way clearing and vegetation management for utility companies across the eastern United States.
And that's where the money is.
Yeah.
Yeah. She also, before, she did something else big before that even. But yeah, that's where the money's coming from now. So, yeah. So Beth Gillette is the person behind it.
Yep.
Yeah. If they're putting forth what we think is $15 million, that's decent money.
Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like they're the sole investors right now.
And it's been said on both interviews that they have other investors ready to come in.
Yep.
Just waiting for the need for that. Right now, they don't need it right now. So,
right.
So Will Morad used to coach Jackson Terry. He was his personal coach and did programming for him. And then they actually hired Will to work for Good Life 18 months ago. And since that time, they've been talking about some other stuff, and it morphed into eventually what we have now as the WFP. So Jackson Terry is married to Isabella Terry. Isabella Terry is the daughter of Beth Gillette. So
Right.
That's how the connections come. And then Will was the personal trainer for Jackson Terry and did his programming for a while.
Yep.
And again, like Carolyne said, they're big with the Kalia Foundation. And Will's been in Hawaii a lot this last few months. So yeah. But that's about what we know for there. They came in with a non-exclusive attitude. So this is a non-exclusive deal. When you're signing your contract, you can do both the WFP and the CrossFit Games season. They're trying not to beat down athletes. Qualifiers are going to be 3 workouts. Tour events are going to be 6 workouts. Finals are going to be 9 workouts. 20 men, 20 women with a pro card, 10 challengers selected from a qualifier to compete in the pro division. They will also have a challenger division at the same event. Challenger division, you can still earn points, but first place in the challenger division is less points than last place in the pro division.
Yeah.
I'm really curious how they're going to do the points, like during the season. What placing is worth what points and all of that. Just very curious about that. Like, how hard is it to lose your top 20 card? Or how hard is it to actually gain one? Like,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that question was asked and not answered well at all.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did say they're still stress testing the point system. They're grabbing existing leaderboards from other events to see and throwing it into the points to see how it affects it. So yeah, but this is not a brand new concept. Golf and tennis have used a point system forever. I can't see why you wouldn't just grab an existing point system for a tour event, whether it be golf or tennis or whatever, and scale it for what you're doing. That doesn't seem that complicated to me. I mean, golf's been doing it for 30, 40 years.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems to me like it's going to be, the fact that there's the more points awarded, I just feel like it's going to be very hard to move up.
Well, if you
Or
can get
likewise
one of the
lose.
10, if you can get one of the 10 qualifier spots,
Okay.
I don't think it's hard.
Sure. But say you're 11th all the time, you're just missing that. And it could be, and if it's 3 workouts, it's probably going to be workout dependent. And I don't love that. So then maybe the point spread shouldn't be, like, if it becomes workout dependent, the point spread shouldn't be greater.
Let's be realistic. Of the people that have been announced, and we'll show that in a second, because there were 2 more this afternoon. I think that the people they picked for the 20, there's room for some people to get removed.
I agree. But until we know the points, we can't say that. It might be just them showing up and finishing might be enough to stay in there.
Like, I wonder also if it's the same workouts, let's say the challenger division and the pro, if they have the exact same workouts, same weights and everything, like, let's say your winner of their challenger division would have finished, 17th in the pro division, but they're not getting any points that are actually making, like, I'm curious for that scenario, because you're going to see that if it's the same workouts, that people will outperform the pro division, especially maybe the last 10 with the same workouts, depending, because 3 workouts in an online qualifier does not, like Jamie said, they're brand new workouts at a competition in person. You're gonna have people perform better.
I hope they do that, because the more people talk about it, the better it's going to be for the sport. The more people say, well, Carolyne Prevost went in the challenger division and she would have beat 6 people in the pro division. Like, I think that conversation is good for the sport. Not good for you, the athlete, but for me as the media member and someone who wants the sport to do well, the more that people are talking about it, then the more exposure it gets. But I see what you're saying as a competitive athlete. Like, that would suck to like always beat the pros, but you can't even get into that division because of the qualifier. Because
of the online qualifier.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just curious what they'll do with the points, because right now they're saying automatically last place. Like, what if there's an injury and someone didn't even do all the workouts? They're getting more points. Or if someone's injured, but they know that just showing up to the comp will allow them to get points just to stay within the race. So they just show up injured, take a bow, don't do any of the events, withdraw right away, but they finish ahead of the challengers and gain their points just by showing up.
I think that's
just curious with that type of scenario, because it could happen.
I agree with you, especially like some of these people that I think got the card more for lifetime achievement than they have for current standing. Like, some of those people have had injury issues recently. I think if you have injuries and you finish last, you're going to have a hard time holding on to your card. I
think that'll probably be.
But if you automatically get a spot at each of the 3, and your challengers, your 10 people that are showing up at these events are always different, you can finish almost last and still gain your top 20 card.
Well,
just because it depends on the scoring system, but if those 10 challengers are flipping in and out, you just have to basically show up and you can maybe hang on to that 20th spot.
You have to remember that the 3rd event is based on total points. So it's going to be basically the 20 that made it in. If just by chance all qualifiers were different, the 20 qualifiers are going to make up the rest of the 10 that go to the final. So you'll be in at least 2 of the events to compete. And I think that's where it's important that if you don't make it in, you should go to the challenger to just bank into enough of those points so that you can add them to whatever you do in the other 2.
Like, let's say Roman doesn't show up to the first, second, and let's say by the third one, he does the online qualifier and then goes to the last one and gets top 5. Is that enough points for him to get a pro card for the following year?
There's no qualifier for the final.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No.
So that
qualifier is only the 2 tour events, and then the top 30 points will compete in the final.
Okay. Got it.
So the double points.
So that trial thingy.
The trials is for every other division, not the pro division.
Got it. Cool.
But I do think legit questions have come out of this that were not asked. If Sydney Wells gets hurt, right? Just throwing out a name that I saw on the list today. And she can't go to tour event 2. Do then 11 qualifiers get to go in? If one of the 20 female athletes can't go to the finals, do 11 challengers get to go? Though that wasn't answered or asked in the stuff. And I think that's important because if someone gets hurt, that is an opportunity for another athlete to get more points. And I hope that they give them that. Man, comments are coming in fast, and I know seen none of them. Ken says, tennis tour isn't the same court surface. Golf, every course is different, and the 5 elite routines are awarded more points. Also, players move up from lower tours if they, yeah. Well, I think this is just starting. This is the money they have is to support this small thing now to see if they can get it to grow and become self-sustainable.
I think the idea is great. I'm excited for it. I think they have a lot of people that are involved right now. Hopefully that they make some good business decision for the sustainability of it. But still missing a lot of information in terms of dates and location. Like Victor Hoffer on one of his podcasts that was posted on Helpin' the other day, he says in French that there's 3 stages and it's in May, August, and December. In French, clearly in that. So I never went to the actual podcast to look for more information, but those are the months that he said. So I don't know if he spoke and he knows information and he was not supposed to say stuff, but
yeah. Justin Madera said May for one of the months too. So May seems to be it. And now there's some controversy that one of the in-person semifinals is in May. So is it really avoiding the calendar of the game season?
Yeah.
So
I think there's 2 in person in May. Like it leaves like one possible weekend.
I was just thinking US. You're right.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They're trying to make this world like it. I feel like it's gonna be tough on some athletes.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to get through this quick so we can get to the year-end stuff before Jamie has to go. Still sorting out the relationship with the PFAA. They're in talks. Nothing has been contractually done with them, but they are talking to them about movement standards and safety. They are hosting completely new events to control the standards, which I do kind of respect, that you're not having third parties saying that a box step up is this, and then this one over here saying it's something different. They're trying to make it so that the movement standard is the same across all the events. I do like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plan is to expand in the future years using the highest finishes to score. So say they have 6 tour events and they're going to take your 3 highest scores. You can then choose to go to 3 events, 4 events, or 5 events, but you'll only get your 3 highest scores that will count for your points. But that will give more flexibility in the season, just like golf or tennis, where you choose to go to this event, that event, and that event, but not necessarily all of them. And that's where the backfill question would even be more pertinent, because then more challengers could get those spots than 10. If the 20 athletes didn't do whatever. We talked about the point system. They say they have enough money for the foreseeable future, but eventually they're going to have to see a return on investment at some point. They want to embrace the storytelling, and there's some bullets here. Ramp up media content the week before the tour event to get to know the people. And they want to get to know the people as people, not as athletes, so that you understand the backstories. They want to make the live stream more easily understood. So if someone just walking in and it's on can understand what's going on, as opposed to having to have it explained. Knowing the players will increase the anticipation, and third-party media will be welcomed at tour events.
That's awesome.
Top 30 points accumulated will compete in the finals, where double points will be awarded. They will have a teen and a masters division, 2 divisions of each. Teens will be called Next Gen, 14 to 16 and 17 to 19. Masters, 35 to 49 and 50 plus. Thoughts on that, Masters athlete?
I mean, there needs to be so many more details around that.
Yeah. I think it's not getting too far out over their skis, like dipping their toe in to bring them in, and then let's see what we can do and create anticipation.
I would do 1 teenage division. I don't think they need 2 little ones. If they're going to, like, 1 master division, 1 teen, just to kind of get them in there.
I do like that they expanded to 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. I don't think that they need, especially if it's going to be the same workouts, it just becomes a long day. If they wanted to make it like viewable.
Yeah. Goal is
the workouts are going to get released early too, he said.
Yeah. I have that somewhere. And then goal is to reinvigorate the connection with the fans. So, and I think that if you sign a contract with a company, they can actually make that happen more often than if you're just a freelance athlete. They can say, hey, we're going to have this event. You need to be at this before we go to XYZ or whatever. But rolling out announcements through January. They've given out 40. They've talked to 40 athletes. Nobody has said no. Some are still waiting to see the dates and get the dates confirmed. Qualifiers will be 6 weeks prior to each event. All the events will have jerseys and a kit for the events. There will be 1 North American tour event, 1 Europe tour event, and then the finals will be in North America. If can't compete the season for some reason, contract will be paid out as a percentage of what was completed. So you're contractually said to do 3. If you can only do 2, you'll get 66% of your contract. And they did say that, Caroline. They did talk about the workouts, especially in year 2, everything being released early so that judges, event organizers, and athletes can all be on the same page by the time the tour event happens, which I know you'd be happy about that.
Yeah, I think it allows for less leaks. Just throw it out there. They're going to be different events. It's like you know what the workouts are going to be that far in advance, but just a little bit, it takes away some of the issues that we see right now with the unknown. You're still training for the unknown. It doesn't change the methodology. It's just the sports side of it. You're just know a little bit more to make it cleaner for the broadcast, everything.
Wow, there's so many. You guys have thrown so many comments and I can't even keep up. Ken Walter says, Scott, sounds great questions. Looks like you should get Will on for a lunch hour show. I would love to have Will on, and I'm going to reach out to Will about that and a couple other things. I have a pretty good relationship with Will. He's been on a couple times on the show, and we hung out a couple times at the Masters games in the documentary, as you can see. Kenneth says, I assume streaming is a pretty big expense. It is to get full production. But who knows who they're negotiating with either. Like we said, if you pitch it as a show idea and a series, maybe a streaming service would pick it up, as opposed to trying to do it yourself through YouTube or whatever that might be. And they did say they're talking to a couple broadcasters, not just one. And that has been one of my beefs forever, is that the same broadcaster keeps getting used for every CrossFit event. So you've had no innovation in 10 years. The broadcast is the exact same as it's always been. Woolly Meemeth in the house saying, I'm a little upset I didn't get signed for the Masters division, but whatever. Clooney, sports don't usually make money without a big broadcast deal. Streaming on YouTube won't work for longer term growth or return on investment. Yes, you are preaching to the choir. We have mentioned both on my lunch show today and tonight that streaming seems to be the way to go, and maybe to try to get a partnership with a streaming service as opposed to ESPN or CBS and the more conventional things. Maybe it's better to look toward streaming services instead. I've seen some stuff in here about Rich coming in, getting Rich to go. I think you have to get Rich to agree to come, and I think that's going to be the bigger issue than you wanting him in there.
Yeah.
So, man, I felt like Jim Carrey there. Like I took in the big breath and blew through that really fast. But keep throwing your comments in there. We'll talk about this. We're going to be talking about it as they keep doing more and more announcements through the season. But I will pop up the signed athletes at this point, as they did sign 2 more athletes this afternoon. And they are... Sure. I only have like 5 Instagrams open. My boy Saxon Panchek got signed this afternoon, and Emma Lawson added to the roster this afternoon. That was in addition to Sydney Wells, BKG, Jason Hopper, Amy Kringle, Mano Anganese, Dallin Pepper, Emma Tall, Justin Medeiros, Victor Hoffer, Roman Krenikoff, Emma McQuaid, Travis Mayer, Alexis Raptis, Yella Hosta, Patrick Vellner, Brooke Wells, Alex Kazan, and Chandler Smith. And I believe that brings us to 20 signed athletes announced. So we're at the halfway point. Any thoughts on the signed athletes before we move on?
Not surprised that really, honestly, with any of them. Like even the ones that I feel could be replaced by other people. Like they have connections to agents, they have connections to athletes, they have media following. So there's not really any surprising picks there. Most are the top athletes anyways. Most.
I think this is the only disappointing part that I have so far. And that is because on the interviews, they said they were taking the leaderboards of Rogue and the games for the last few years, right, and putting them together and taking the top 16 men and top 16 women, and then 4 at-large bids to get the 20 spots.
Right.
At my count, we are past 4 at-large.
Oh, yeah.
Based on those leaders. And if that's what you're doing, then fine. This is year 1. You get to pick who they are. It's your league. Do what you want to do. But this is not what you said. And I love you, Will. And I want to support this. I think this is a great endeavor. I think this is correcting a lot of the things we've been bitching about the CrossFit Games season about for years. And I want to see it do well. But this is not what you said.
Right.
There are more than 4 people here that were not, that would not have been in the top 16, combining those 2 leaderboards.
I agree.
Is it just from this year or is it last year's?
We said past 2 years.
The past 2 years.
Some of these athletes were hurt during those 2 years and would not have made the top 16. Some of these athletes are so new, they wouldn't have made the top 16.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. And,
Yeah.
and
But again, I'm not surprised though. This is a sport where we recycle the same sponsors for every athlete. It's the same few agents. It's literally a who you know and followers for a lot of things, for opportunities. So I'm not surprised.
Clenny said there's no perfect way to select athletes. I agree. There is no perfect way, but don't tell me you're doing it one way and then obviously it's not that way.
Right. Just say we're picking hot names, people we think are going to invigorate the sport, people with bigger personalities, whatever you think it is. Like, just say that.
Right. I'm
We're down
all
for
for that. Just don't tell me you did it another way, because I know Victor Hoffer did not compete at the games. He withdrew this year on his one qualification before event 1. So he couldn't have been top 16, right? Sydney Wells is not top 16 in the world combining those leaderboards. And I don't want to go through and like Amy Kringle's too new to be top 16. BKG did do okay, even though he couldn't lift more than 95 pounds at the games 2 years ago.
These are not surprising picks though.
They're not surprising at all.
They're like you cannot be surprised. For the most part,
hasn't been competitive in 2 years.
I thought she was retiring too this year.
No, she just said she's not doing the games.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they're like, I'm not surprised by any of the picks again. For the most part, like you still have your top athletes that will be there. And someone asked if Laura and Tia, I mean, if no one's turned down, they would be within the top 20. So I'm assuming Laura and Tia are going to be there. But yeah, I'm like, yeah. Like every time I see an athlete, I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Again,
like I see why they picked them.
If they wouldn't have said top 16, I wouldn't care. Then they can pick whoever they want. And I'm cool with that. So, and I wouldn't have been surprised, but don't tell me you're using this criteria. And then I know for a fact you didn't use that criteria. You have connections with agents. You went to that agent's clients. You signed all those people. And then you went to the next agent and you signed those people. Or, hey, this is a major sponsor of ours, so we're going to sign all their athletes to make sure that they're covered for their sponsorship and to create a partnership. I understand how business works. I understand how you have to handshake deals and stuff behind the scenes. That's just not what they said. That's all. I don't think he's picking friends. I think he's picking people that they think will draw attention and who have connections to people they need behind the scenes. So, okay. So that is done. Let's go to the year-end awards real quick so Jamie can participate in that. Okay. I just have to pull up my notes. So we have a list of, 10, 12 categories, and we are going to go through those, and we will pick our year end for 2024. There was no real criteria given for this. It is just whatever you believe and whatever you feel. We're not setting an expectation of combining leaderboards. We are just setting that we're going to pick what's best for us. So with that, best male performance 2024.
Who do you want to go first?
We'll start with you, Jamie, and then we'll rotate it.
I said Dalen Pepper.
Any reason behind that?
I feel like his performances at both the games and Rogue were net better than pretty much everybody else's.
Carolyne?
Fikowski. I thought he performed well at all aspects of the year. I thought he looked good. He maximized his last year in the sport.
I picked Jeff Adler because of his Rogue performance. It was a dominating win. It's the only competition he completed in 2024. And that one he did go up against the best in the world, and he dominated that performance.
He is the best male athlete, like hands down. He's the fittest male athlete. I just picked Fikowski in terms of he
I get it. 2 seconds.
Outdid my expectations.
And
But
he did
Jeff
well at
Adler
Wodapalooza
is
too,
hands
right?
down.
Yeah, so he had like 3 great performances this year. Yeah, that's why I said there's no criteria for this. We're just Ken says we should call these the Clydes.
I love it.
So now we go to the female side. Female best performance 2024. Start with Carolyne.
I mean, it's hard to argue against Tia, but I'm gonna pick Laura Horvath.
Wow.
I think beating Tia 4 straight events in a row is just like, you don't see that ever. That's pretty impressive.
But didn't Tia beat her 4 straight events before that?
Yeah, but Tia's supposed to. When does one athlete beat Tia 4 straight events in a row? It just doesn't happen.
As much as I've been a Laura picker for a long time. And I tried to find a way to pick somebody other than Tia. I just couldn't. She just killed it this year. Like, she just killed it.
Yeah.
So I picked Tia.
Yeah, Tia's the obvious choice. I didn't want to go with the obvious, so I'm going to say Gabby. And I feel like she was crushing Rogue until she wasn't.
She was crushing Rogue.
Stuck out the games. Incredible performance at the games. Like, I was just excited for her whole year to. I mean, it sucks to see that happen at Rogue.
So I tried to make an argument for Gabby, but she was still in 3rd at Rogue behind Laura and Tia. Like, even with that great performance, she was still,
Well, yeah,
but
she did finish. You don't.
And to me, it's similar to Jeff, right? Like, Tia is the best, Jeff is the best, male and female, and then I was looking for someone else that are not the 2 usuals.
Exactly.
So then we move into most disappointing performance of 2024, male. This is hard because I really hate picking disappointments, but I'm going to go first, and my pick is Ricky Garrard. I really thought that he would have better performances at Rogue and the games, and they weren't terrible, but why does he always get hurt? Like, why does he always get hurt when, like, you're right there on the precipice of greatness? And Chad, he rolls his ankle coming off the box. It was right in front of me. I saw it happen. I thought he was done for the games in that moment. And he somehow still finished 7th, but that is not a Ricky finish. And so I said, and I expected him to do better at Rogue too. And he still did well. It just, I wanted him to compete against Jeff closer. So I pick Ricky.
My pick also hinged a lot on Rogue finish, and I went with Veltner.
Definite decline this year.
Yeah. And we know I love my boy Pat.
Oh, you love some Pat Veltner.
That was mine, was Pat, for in terms of a performance at a specific event. That's how I had read the question. If you want to just say, like, in general for the year, my disappointment, Roman was not very good at Wodapalooza.
Yeah.
None of the events I was really awe with, and I know he was injured a little bit at the games, but like, he didn't do anything there. Even prior, I think I had lost a little bit of faith of where he was at last year. At the games, I thought that he had a not so great season. But I don't know how much the injury played a part, at what point of the season it started. But he didn't look good at the games. He didn't look good at Wodapalooza. He looked okay at semifinal, decent at semifinals.
Just to catch up on some comments, Craig Pasley picked Jason as best performance. Clenny's picked Tia. Craig said Brent is a good pick. Craig picked Tia. Jody agreed with me. I love when that happens. Ken said mine is Colton. Not that he did bad by any means, but because my favorite athlete didn't make the games.
Yeah, that's a good disappointment. I agree. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yep.
So then we go to most disappointed female.
Back to me.
Yep.
Overall, for the whole year, I'm going to go with Danielle Brandon.
Okay. That's always a solid pick because the expectations for her are always like super high.
They are. I think she'll do, like, I just really thought she would finish higher at both the games and Rogue.
Caroline? Mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. I have two. Lawson just didn't perform as well as I expected her throughout the whole year. I'm just like the games. I don't even look at the games at all, but just in terms of the whole year in general, like normally she would, be top 3 in the open, top 3, like just wasn't herself this year. Yeah. And I think my other pick was Domit. I think I expected a little bit more of her at the games after coming off the semifinal and maybe a little bit of hype. But
how hard was it factoring in the games this season? Because they weren't what.
It's so hard.
Not there. You had programming removed. You had it just was hard to like judge through all of that.
It really is. Like I take small value in the games this year, but it's one of the only competitions in person we have. So that all the athletes are there competing. Like there's Wodapalooza, there's Rogue, the games. Like we don't have much besides the online, and I'm not going to put as much value on the online. So sadly, I don't even, like it again. Like the games to me doesn't reflect how the performance of a lot of athletes.
So my disappointment is based on Rogue, and I know that this person is not typically strong at Rogue, but because of the metamorphosis she supposedly went through in the off season, I expected more of her there, and that is Haley Adams. 16th place at Rogue. Even though I knew she wouldn't hit the weightlifting events or the heavy events, she didn't do anything well at Rogue. Like a 16th place.
That's not true. She crushed the snatch one. And that's,
And that snatch event for her was like, when I looked at the strategies of everyone, I'm like, oh, they're all doing like what I did. They're blowing up and then they're going to start, not doing as well in the snatch. She took her sweet time on those ring muscle ups. She did like 4-5 sets even, and then just move the snatch weight better than anyone. Everyone, like including Laura, missed snatches. Yep. Almost everyone did the same strategy that I did, which was just like 2 sets or maybe 3.
I think this is it. She was so overhyped. The media attention was on her that she had done all this stuff to change and get her love for the game back. And I just expected more than a 16th place.
Yeah.
Her adaptability at Rogue wasn't good. Like she couldn't do the log muscle up. She couldn't do the pegboard, which normally she is so good at the pegboard. So there's a few there.
Yeah. I'm going to spoil this, but because I probably won't make it. My most surprising female, I picked Haley for those big dichotomies, right? Like some great performance at semis, Aaron says it's great here. I feel like she got a little stronger, but everything else regressed. So to me, there was some big surprises there for me with Haley. So that was my vote for that, because that's like your last one, and I will not be on for that. So that was my pick there.
Ken keeps saying that Caroline just keeps picking the Canadians. Jody says,
I've been honest, good and bad with my Canadians.
Can't stand DB every year. It's the same. And then Dan Church echoes all that. And then Craig says Alexis.
So I considered that for my disappointed as well. Good pick.
All right. Next category is Coach of the Year. And it's Caroline.
I mean, it's hard to not talk about what's going on at Brute Camp or Brute, not Camp, Brute Fitness, Brute Strength. And I was like, oh, I forgot the name. I don't know who coaches what athlete. Like, I don't know if it's if
Right.
but something good is going on there.
Yeah. I said Matt Torres along with Aaron Fraser. He took over Brute. He is now the owner of Brute, so I'm just, I guess, giving him the nod. But they also have Coach L there, who's taken on a lot of clients. Man, Coach L was at the Masters CrossFit Games with a ton of athletes. I know he's Kelsey Keels. He's Danielle Brandon's. He just took on Jason Hopper. So, yeah.
And I'll pick Caroline Lumbre just to continue with my Canadians.
Yeah.
All right.
Jenny?
Thanks, Ken.
My coach of the year is Tristan.
Yeah.
Because he got Hattie there. He got me there.
Cool.
Can't argue with results.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Best viewing experience.
We're not
Go
doing
ahead, Jamie.
favorite moment.
Oh, favorite moment of the year. Sorry. Favorite moment of the year.
All right. This is my last one. I'm signing off. Okay. Is it me? I'll go. My favorite moment of the year was me finishing second in the power clean toe to bar burpee workout at the Masters Games.
Little self-promotion.
Well, it was my favorite moment.
Okay.
I was more impressed by your Echo bike performance.
That was up there for me because it was like full push.
Because you're not that like tall, big. Like that was more
Yeah.
impressive for me.
I feel like both were like the power clean was super heavy. The bike is more power output. I think the fact that there was more of a race on the floor in the going back and forth to the bar to the toe. You're just on a bike. You don't know everyone's kills. It's really hard to see. It's not. I was really happy with my performance. Don't get me wrong. I just think the race in the power clean one was a little more exciting. And people
And that you got dizzy because they kept making you spin.
Yeah, things could have been improved there, but it was
Caroline?
Gosh, I didn't write this one down. So go ahead. You go first, Scott. Let me think about it.
So mine is semifinal Syndicate Crown, Lydia Fish finishing the snatch ladder. And I think it is so indelible because I was right beside her in the media pit and I caught the footage from behind with her entire family in the stands going ballistic when she hit the last bar. And like the genuine excitement in that arena when she did that was one of the coolest feelings of the year for me. And so that is my favorite moment. And it's still on my Instagram as a reel. So if you want to go check that out. But her dad like loses his mind in the stands. And I captured that on video as she hit that final bar.
Okay, I have one, Ken. Canadian again. So I was in the stands at Syndicate Crown for the last event, and I'm sitting with Chloe Gauvin, David's parents, and her boyfriend, cheering for her. And after she smashed that event, just seeing her qualify again for the games was exciting. I have a lot of appreciation for her in the sport, and I have a good relationship with her. So just was very, very happy to see her get back to the games at the expense of other Canadian friends, which that's not good, but I was happy for Chloe.
Yeah, not many people had her on their bingo card for making the jump on that final workout.
I said that Sunday was built for Chloe Gauvin, David.
You did.
Built for her.
We also have Ricky running the sub 5-minute mile at the games. That was pretty awesome. James' final games event. That was pretty awesome too.
That was Aaron's choice. He was torn between my performance or the games final event. He thought that was a really good race on the floor between like three of the men, and he was like, that's like the one that sticks out in my mind.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tudor joined Brute this year. You know what's funny is Tudor started with Brute.
Right.
He was a Matt Torres athlete back when him and Dallin and James were all teens.
Yeah.
And Emma Carey, that group was all together with Matt Torres back in the day.
All right, I'm going to sign off. You guys
All right,
finish
you want me to remove you?
I think I can leave the studio.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay. We get to go. Whoops. There we go. Widescreen. Carolyne with the Make a Canadian Great Again.
We've been good. We've been here. We've won on both the males and female side. So there ain't no great again.
So best viewing experience.
Rogue.
That's mine. The package, the special package you can purchase with Rogue, every event that has streaming should offer that. It's a way to make your money back. It is a revenue stream. They charge $25 every year. You can move the freaking camera to watch whatever you want to watch. How can you not love that? And you can either pick the traditional broadcast or what I call their Manning cast or their tailgate party. You can do both. And to me, that was the best viewing experience by far.
Yeah,
Not even remotely close.
It's so much better than any other comp. They raise the bar all the time for competitions and stuff. So yeah, it's great.
Best of overall event.
Your turn.
Rogue.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you have the athletes as well as a new location in Europe. The fans are great. There were other good events out there, like in terms of some of the semifinals, Wodapalooza, but you don't always have the best of the best competing, and like Rogue just gets those athletes there.
It has the best athletes in the world. They pay attention to every detail. Wodapalooza was essentially rained out this year. The games had the tragic event that took away a lot there. So there really wasn't even a lot of competition. Semifinals were underwhelmingly attended, except for Europe and Torian. But for me, those were tough to watch just because they were like in the middle of the night. But so Rogue by far.
Yeah. And then
Crash
if you want to
great job too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like if you want to go with a smaller competition, competition with less money than what Rogue can put out, then Crash, I think, nailed it.
Yeah, they do a great job now every year.
Yep.
So super stoked that they keep doing what they do. Best event workout.
I didn't think about this one. You added some new ones that I didn't see.
This one's always been there.
Oh, has it? Best event workout.
Yeah. I'll go ahead.
I think I like the finale of the semifinals, and I don't know if it's because there's so much on the line for it that it just created a lot of excitement. But I thought it was one of the better finales that we've seen.
We match again.
Yeah.
The distance on the lunge at the end could not have been more perfect. It was. There was so much devastation in that last event with everything on the line. It brought all the drama. Usually they always say the workout shouldn't be the star. The athlete should be the star, but that workout was the star to end all the semifinals.
Yeah, it really was great. And like going in, I was like, oh, like no one's going to put down the lunges. Like it's going to be irrelevant for most people that they're just strong enough to, and then sure enough, those dumbbells are slipping. People are having to get called back. And it was, that was an exciting event.
People are like giving JR some love. Well deserved. Yes. And then Jay Birch says, was it Torian Pro that had the cool opening ceremony? They always have. It's like a rock show there. They've got fireworks and flames and lasers and everything else. It's I so want to get to go there one time to watch what they put on. Last two categories. Most surprising performance, male. It's my turn, right? So I go James Spread. His games, like nobody saw him winning the games. If you had him picked before you're going to Vegas to collect a big sum of money. And even though it was really tough to include much of the games in judging this season because of what happened there, that was a huge surprise. And like James is just one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. So happy for him and his family. It was just awesome. And that to me, that's the most surprising male performance.
I'm going to go Austin Hatfield. I thought that he had a couple event wins. Like for him to win 2 events at the games, I think he won a couple, if at least one at the semifinals too. I didn't expect as much from him. And I know that the games, again, like if you put everyone in the field with the right mentality, it's a different maybe outcome. But I still thought that he was better than I expected.
Come on, John Young would have told you about Austin Hatfield 6 years ago.
I know, but I'm not. I'm not going on that.
He did have like the biggest cheering crowd though at Syndicate. That was him and Haley Adams. It was crazy how many people were there for them. It was so loud. That was fun to see. Someone new, Austin was, he was in Orlando the year before, but in Tennessee near his hometown, the people from West Virginia could get down there and man, it was loud. Ken Walter said Hatfield's going to be a games regular. Release the rabbit. So we finish up with most surprising performance, female.
Emily Rolfe?
Sure. She was in my list.
Yeah. Hattie Canio? I'm going to go with all the Canadians just tonight.
Well, I went with Hattie.
Hattie at semifinals.
Yeah.
Hattie at semifinals. Not necessarily at the games.
My only wish for her is that she wouldn't have blown the last event and had a podium finish to cap it off. Because she was leading going into the final event and then lost it on that workout we just talked about enough where she fell back.
I take my votes back. Gabby.
Okay.
Gabby, because I knew she was getting good. I didn't know she was getting this good. And I didn't know that she was going to be, right there with Laura as much as because to me it was like Tia and Laura are just like completely separated from the rest of the girls. And then there's like a little group of girls, within that 3 to 7 or 8. And then there's another little group. But I thought Gabby really made a step this year. Really made a step.
So you are picking a non-Canadian as your most surprising athlete of 2024.
Yep, I'll do it. I'll pick a non-Canadian.
All right. So that was fun. The Clydes are over. We have Craig says Emily at the games third. That was surprising. And Kane. Man, my internet is going.
I didn't know if it was mine or yours.
It's mine.
Okay.
Which has not happened in a while. So hopefully it comes back to full. Here, we're coming back. Patrick Clark is bragging that he's been telling us about Gabby for 2 years now. Something changed this year, though.
I mean, she trained with Laura. She looked like she was happy. She learned from one of the best in the sport. It's like if you're training with one of the best and you're getting pushed, like that's going to help in training. Like, I don't know what has happened since then, and I'm not going to get into any of that, but I mean, that helped her. And I think it helped Laura too.
Sorry about that. Okay. Couple other things before we head out of here. Speaking of Syndicate Crown, the volunteer registration is open. And here's the Google Doc for everybody. You can go out to and fill out that, and they have jobs available. Sure. Athlete control, gear, judges, media, medical, scoring, and special assignments. So make sure to go check that out.
I don't know if you had it on the list too, but the one competition, the Rebel Games or whatever, they announced today or yesterday that, the athletes that would be competing there are only going to be from the African region and the UAE. So that was surprising. And, this may, we don't know the details about the other semifinals, and maybe this is going to set a precedent for next year and what people might do in the following years. People might be looking at this like, oh, I guess there's no restriction. We could do that with ours too. So I'll be interested to see if any of that happens this year or in the future years. Because we already have cut down the field, and if we start changing things, it could be.
Yeah. From your perspective, I can see where that is. It's getting, it sucks in no uncertain terms. We thought we were going away from the regions, and now we're just adding them back in a different format. I also have this announcement. This came this week. Katrin David's daughter got engaged to Brooks. And I don't know if you saw this, but the ring is a whopper. But they look very happy. They've looked happy for years. So happy for them. And then last big thing, and then we'll get out of here, is Wodapalooza has made a ton of announcements today. They have announced all their elite teams, women and men, and all their elite individuals. So here are the elite teams. You can go to their Instagram. You can see like the Sydney Wells, Brooke Wells, Haley Adams, Kyra Milligan, Danny Spiegel, Olivia Kerstetter. Then there's, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll try to go slow so you can kind of see them. I'll point out the ones that kind of stand out. Emily Rawl, Fariel Lowen, Alex Gazan, Elisa Fuliano, Linda Kiesman, Fee Sagafi, Ali Weiss, Lauren Stallwood, and Sydney Smith. Shelby Neal, Emma Lawson, Danielle Brandon.
There's some great teams and great individuals. It's going to be stacked.
Lucy Campbell, Jennifer Muir, and Taylor Howe. Speaking of Tristan, a bunch of his athletes: Hattie Canio, Madison McElhaney, and Elisa Schauer. Jamie Smith, Jesse Smith, Amy Kringle, and Annika Greer. Emily Rethwell, Elizabeth Wishart, and Hannah Black. And then the daughters have joined forces. Katrin, Annie, and Sarah all together.
Which is cool.
Reese Littlewood, Lucy McGonigal, and Bergros.
The OGs and then the new teens. That's pretty cool.
Ava George, Grace Lochner, and Trista Smith, another young team. So that is the women. And then I know we have, here are the individuals. all announced. Erica Folo, Emma Tall, Claudia Gluck, Kyra Milligan, Brooke Wells, Alexis Raptis, Andrea Pinheiro, Elizabeth Wishart, Hattie Canyo, Emil Lumberg, Amy Kringle, Danny Spiegel, Linda Kiesman, Georgia Pryor, Laura Horvat, Emily Rolfe, Chloe Govin David, Jessica Androzik, Victoria Campos, Lucy McGonigal, Bethany Flores, Elisa Fuliano, Ariel Lowen, Lydia Fish, Reese Littlewood, Jennifer Muir, Abigail Domit, Lexi Neely, Annika Greer, Zoe Warren, Lucy Campbell, Sydney Wells, and Sahir Kaya. That's quite a field for Wodapalooza on the women's side.
Very stacked.
On the men's side, it's not quite as stacked, but there's still some big names. We have Alex Katulis, Moritz Fiebig, Jack Farlow, Kike Cerveni, Kaike, Ricky Garrard, Nick Matthew, Guy Mahieros, Alexander Caron, Harry Lightfoot, Austin Hatfield, Jeff Adler, Luka Jukic, Saxon Panchek, Trayvon Benton, James Sprague, Travis Mayer, Max Krieg, Luke Parker, Pat Vellner, Enola Kai, John Wood, Yonakoski, Ruan.
I mean, the guys have a lot of great names too. Like it's both sides are. This is a great roster.
And then that's the women again. The elite teams, men. Pull that up. This one there, I don't think is as stacked as some of the individual, but there's some stacked teams. Justin Medeiros, Dallin Pepper, Willie Georges, Jack Farlow, Benoit Boulanger, Tudor Magda, Hopper, Adler, Vellner, Saxon Panchek, Jorge Fernandez, Guy Mahieros, Noah Olson, Chandler Smith, Travis Mayer, who always do well at Wodapalooza. Alex Katulis, Nick Matthew, and Brandon Shipper. Michael Wazlowski, Pablo Cazales, Callum Clements. The Vigneault brothers are joining up with Yves Eric Pelote. And then we have Moritz Fiebig, Harry Lightfoot, and Luka Jukic joining up. And that's those. And then those are pretty much the big names on that side. But there's definitely some stacked teams. I did not see a Colton as one of the names. Sorry. I know he is a fan favorite. I think that's pretty much all the news from the week. That was a lot. So we did not do our Gauntlet workouts. We're going to do them next week instead because there was so much news. And with Jamie's schedule, it was tough for her to commit to do that and the year-end awards. So Sunday night, we are going to do the workout. The assignment for you all is create a 60 to 90-minute workout. That is
mine's under, but that's okay.
Well, mine is too, but I left... Mine is 60 minutes in total with a transition so that you can keep it moving. Okay. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I added my transitions with it too.
And so mine's a hair under 60 minutes. You make a 60, 90 minute workout, waterfall style in a high rocks-ish type of thing, or like a Gauntlet at Wodapalooza thing that would travel from city to city where everybody from the community would come and do it together. You would do heats. It would just be like a rolling start. And you would go through to finish and you would get a time. Mine is set to every second counts. Carolyn's is done for reps. So that
I did two.
Score.
I did one for time and one is for reps.
You're an overachiever.
I did too.
So I have two submitted workouts from you, the audience. Those people are going to get 2 entries because they met the original timeline for our either water bottle giveaway or the coffee cup. You get your choice, either water bottle or coffee cup with the engraved Clydesdale Media logo. The two people that put theirs in ahead of time will get 2 entries into the drawing. Everybody that submits one between now and Sunday will get 1 entry into the drawing, and then we'll read them out and come up with what we think is like the best idea for an overall gauntlet style workout that would travel.
I say around 60 minutes. It doesn't need to be.
Yeah. Mine's around 60. But yours is around 60. Jamie was begging for 90.
Of course she was. But I'm also thinking about it can't be such high skill that we put away a lot of people too. Like, I want it to be easy to judge and something that people can kind of go through. And it's just something that's like a baseline that can be tested at multiple locations. And because like the open is great, and I guess it's a baseline every year, but the workouts are always different. Like, you don't actually know if you're fitter. They're different workouts. So this would be something that could stay a little bit more relevant. Like, yeah, we have so many benchmarks, but it's like just creating one pretty balanced workout with maybe different parts in it that everyone in the community can do either yearly or multiple times a year was my idea of doing.
So the Professor Clyde says this is due by next Sunday afternoon, just so I can copy and paste it into a document that I can share on screen so we can show it. And you can either DM me on Instagram, or you can put it on the YouTube comments. We prefer the YouTube comments because it helps the algorithm tremendously. But I'll take either at this point. Jody Lynn says 1-person workout. Yes. So back when I first started CrossFit, a lot of the competitions were waterfall style. You would do one workout, you would get a transition time or rest time to the next workout, do that, another transition rest time to that, and you would just go through it, and you'd be done in 60 to 90 minutes. But it's not just one steady workout for 60 to 90 minutes. It's a series of workouts with transition time.
Yeah. And something that could get scaled because
so I actually have in 2 of my workouts an elite version and an RX version of the workout.
Who's the overachiever now?
So we can be there for both sides of the community. So Craig says it's a good idea. Well, Carolyne came up with this, and it's only taken us. I can see Lex's shadow on the wall. She's like the Lex shadow puppet.
Because I like the high rocks, but I just find it so running dominant that I would like something like that that's a little bit more balanced in terms of CrossFit. So restrictions and equipment that can get used quite a bit. Like if you start adding rope climbs, and now we got to have, ropes are going to get destroyed during the day. Like they wouldn't even last.
Yeah, I thought about like what could be. So my vision of this is that like High Rocks, you have stations. You have like mine is 4 workouts. You have station 1, you transition to station 2, which is another workout, transition to station 3, which is another workout, transition to station 4. So you can keep all the equipment in the same station all day. But you do want to think about it's going to be banged on all day by a ton of athletes. Can it
easy to judge?
That? Yeah.
And I do have running in mind. I'm just saying the whole thing doesn't need to be running.
Yeah, I did not put running in mind. Shocker. Spoiler alert. Not even in the forethought of my mind to put running in this. But I think it came out well. I think I'm really proud of it because I never do programming. Like this was really outside the box for me. So I'm excited to get feedback on my workout. Back when I coached in from 15 to 18, I programmed a couple days, but it was very minimal.
Would you claim that your workout is could balance out in terms of strength, monostructural, and
Yes.
gymnastics. Like it would be a pretty fit test. Like a lot of the benchmark workouts, like yes, there's a lot of good ones, but you would need multiple to kind of determine who's the fittest that day, right? So you would have enough stuff in there that you could claim this is a fit test, and the fittest will come out, is what you're saying.
I tried to be balanced.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. Inside or outside? It's
ideally inside because of the weather.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, if you want to do a mass thing, it needs to be something that weather is not playing a factor in scores. Like you just want to see what the top scores, and you could have a world championship.
We're basing this off of High Rocks, which is always like in a convention center with indoor running or whatever it is. So, and just, we don't want to copy High Rocks. They do what they do, and that's great. We just want to be a very CrossFit-y version of a waterfall style workout. And I would even say the two thoughts in my mind are Gauntlet at Wodapalooza. If you've ever been there, it's a 60-minute workout that anybody can sign up for and do from the crowd. And you do that straight through 60 minutes. Take that, put it into the High Rocks traveling show, and that's what we're looking for.
Cindy is super simple, but a killer at the same
So
time.
I will tell you, Cindy was in mine, and I took it out.
So if you have to think about, if you're going to put Cindy, I mean, that's all, I mean, that would be a short person range of motion. So you would have to balance that with something that would be also for tall people and strength bias. So yeah, there's a lot of considerations to take. Like, while Cindy is a great test, it wouldn't be the test of fitness.
So I had Cindy as one of my pieces, and then I took it out because I wanted to use an element elsewhere. Does that make sense? I wanted to use an element of Cindy elsewhere, so I took Cindy out to be able to do that.
And yeah, you can use any equipment that you want to use.
Yeah, you guys are getting the idea now.
Short time domain, long time domain, and mix it up.
So for my, and this is a little spoiler alert, for mine, I thought logistics, because you want to keep it flowing. So I actually did, with transition time, 4 15-minute pieces, so that the stations would be changing at the same time, and you would just keep moving. Does that make sense?
Like, I have 3 minutes in between my one that is for reps, but there's like different time domains because I'm trying to get different time domains as well. But mine right now is 50 minutes, 50 in total. And I think there's 4 parts as well.
So Clydesdale, I would say you can have as many lanes as you want, probably 10 to 20. Because if depends on if you're in a convention center, and this isn't like a broadcasted thing, this is for the community to come out and hang out together. You can have a rig with 2 sides, 10 and 10. You can, if you're just doing, but you want to kind of keep it the same throughout the whole day, so the same group of people can move together through the stations. But you're going to have a lot of space if you go to like a convention center and set this up into stations and just move from one to the other. So think outside the box. As long as you can like figure it out logistically, I'm up for it.
And easy to judge, because we don't want to be on social media posting
we don't
our
want to be on
bubbles.
Hiller's account. Ken Walters wants to know Canadian metrics,
honestly safe.
Pounds and feet.
One of my metrics is also safety too. If I'm running a lot of people of different levels, it needs to be pretty safe. I didn't want to have any dealing with, like I said, like rope climbs where people, if you don't have the right equipment and things are falling apart, like safety is a big thing too.
Yeah. But you guys get the idea. Again, you can win this cool water bottle. This one, I actually have one still boxed up. You'd win that one, not this one, but water bottle or coffee cup, your choice.
And then next week when we announce them all, then we can have a fan vote, and then maybe we have to do it in the new year.
Okay. All right.
We need a baseline for it. See if what we wrote is killing these athletes.
Jody wants to know, when will you be signing athletes up for this event?
We have to decide which workout wins.
Well, once we get our investor,
15 million.
Yeah, the 15 million. Once it comes in, we'll set this up and do the traveling roadshow. And 15 million works both in metric and in American standard or English standard. So
I just think this could be like a cool baseline that's well-rounded that people do in the community, that every year they could do a different location and meet up.
Yeah. And what's cool is you could do a world championship of it at the end of the year. Take the best times from all the different cities, invite the top athletes.
You're assuming it's time. What if it's reps like mine? Oh.
Okay. Of course I'm going to go with mine.
Of course.
Okay. Well, with that, guys, this has been fun. I love the interaction tonight. You guys, we love you. You're the best. Hanging out with you every Sunday or Monday night is awesome, and can't wait to do it again this Sunday. I'll be back on for lunch with the Clydesdale tomorrow. Maybe I'll do some year-end stuff myself, more podcast related, maybe best shows of the year, things like that. With that, we'll see you guys all tomorrow. And don't forget to wish Lex a happy birthday, belated from yesterday. We have Carolyn's coming up on the 6th. We have mine coming up on Wednesday, and we have Jamie's husband's on the 10th.
Yep.
So make sure you wish everybody a happy birthday as you're pulling down your Christmas tree.
And Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah. Happy New Year, guys. See you next time on the Clydesdale Media. Nope. Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. That's what we're doing now. Bye, guys.